AutoCAD 2010 provides us with some fantastic new measuring tools. These are available on the Home tab and in the Utilities panel over here where Zoom used to be. Now the measure option is here. Now if I click on the down arrow here and bring out the flyout menu, you can see that I've got distance, radius, angle, area and volume. Now in this course we're looking at 2D concepts, so volume is not really used in this particular case. However, let's have a look at distance. I click on distance and it prompts me to specify the first point. Make sure that you're using your object snaps, otherwise the distances will not be accurate. I'm going to zoom in on this middle area here, the corridor section. And I want to measure the distance from one corner of the corridor here to the other corner of the corridor here. Upon that second click, I get a highlighted distance telling me it's 1500 millimeters in this case, which is 1.5 meters. But the best bit is I now get a dynamic input menu prompting me for the next part of the measure tool I want to use. It's fantastic for calculating things. I can utilize the radius here and select an arc or a circle. So if I pick on that arc there of the door, it tells me that the radius of that arc for the door is 900. I can measure an angle. Let's look at the angle there on the table, shall we? For example, if I click there and then there's my angle, 135 degrees. So you can see this is a very quick and easy, but most importantly, visual tool. You can see what you're doing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to utilize the area tool, but in a much bigger way. The area tool is very, very clever. You can add and subtract areas, so you can calculate a gross area and a net area of a space. Very useful if you're working out areas for offices in this particular office block. So I'm going to exit the measure tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my View tab, and then what I'm going to do is use the Navigate here, the Navigate panel, and Zoom Extents again so I can see everything that I'm doing. I'm then going to go back to my Home tab and utilize the measure facility here again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on this left-hand office here and make sure that I can see all of it like so. So again, just use the wheel on the mouse to zoom and pan. And what I'm going to calculate first of all is the gross area of the office, and then I'm going to subtract the areas of the desks here, and I'm going to calculate it because these desks are fixed. They're pretty permanent. Things like the chair and the tables can be moved around. But we need to calculate the permanent usable area of this office. So we go here to measure and we click on area. Now the first thing we do is we must add our gross area to 0 so that we can subtract areas away. So just watch the screen. I right click and I select add area. And I'm now prompted to specify the first corner point. Now this is nice and easy in this case because what I can do, I can go to this corner here, left click, and I can just work my way round. Now my suggestion is you zoom in slightly so that you can work your way around the area and utilize the pan tool. So I'm panning now down to this corner here, to this corner here, and I'm just going to zoom out now so you can see the whole thing. And look, it's actually giving me the area in colour. Isn't that fantastic? So once I've got to that corner there, I don't need to go any further, so I just press enter, and there's my area, and you can see that on the dynamic input there. The total area is that area there in square millimeters, you'll notice. So there's quite a lot there. That's because millimeters are obviously quite small. If you wanted to calculate that back to meters, you would take it back 6 decimal places. So that would actually look at, that would be in the region of 152 square meters, that office. So I now need to subtract, and what I want to subtract are objects. So I right click, subtract area, I right click again and select object, and now you'll notice I can click on this object here and this object here. Are they subtracting? No, they're not. The reason they're not subtracting is they are blocks. They are not objects. So a block does not have an area, whereas that table there would have an area. Or would it? It's a block, remember. We made it into a block. It's not a polygon anymore. So all these blocks don't have an area, so I have to do this manually. So it's a right click and then right click again. And this time, what I have to do is use points. I can't use this object option here. So I just hit escape once, and now it's asking me to specify the first corner point. Well, that's nice and easy. I can zoom in, and I can just use my object snaps again to go around the desks. And look, can you see the different color now? This is the subtract color. And as I go round the shape of the desks, like so, getting each object snap, don't worry if it does this. You've snapped on all the points now, so press enter. There's your subtracted area, and look now. It is visual. You can see the green area is your net area, the overall area is your gross area, and you've subtracted the brown areas from the gross area to get the green area. So your total area of usable space in that office is the area there on the dynamic input, 3184171.2 square millimeters. So you can see that area tool is very easy to use, but again, it's visual. A picture paints 1,000 words in AutoCAD, and as you can see, you can't miss the two areas there that you've worked with.